amigos. Este yo. Puesto Enrico. Puesto de taquiendo de familias de Piplio place. And tonight I'm sharing with the world my advocacy in favor of regalizing shrugs. If you're like me, you know how noble and majestic the shrug is fundamentally and ought to be considered in a just world. That the only reason we don't currently think of shrugs as the most regal of gestures is because of a concerted effort on the dominant elite to suppress that liberating reality. But we can all simply embrace my advocacy for regalizing shrugs. This is a live stream. This is an actual live stream, not a premiere. I only title things like live streams things like regalizing shrugs, because I don't know what I'm going to talk about before I do the live stream. You know, I tried having topics before, but what a waste of time and energy, huh? No point to that. It's not staying on topic. Good evening, Sandy. A great pleasure to see you here. It's you, me, and Invisible Joe. We're hanging out, smoking a joint. I put a little bit of this delicious honey pot oil on this joint and supercharging it a bit. I'm getting the brain tingles right in here. It's Geo Niggy Yugi. It's Geo Niggy Yugi. That was Invisible Joe. Thanks for being here, Geo Niggy Yugi. It's good to see you again. Oh, it's ham bone. Bone in the ham, ham in the bone. Always bone in the ham. Well, with Zandy, Geo Niggy Yugi, and ham bone here, plus me, that makes 4. We can begin a caper. All you need to make a caper is 4. We can begin our Regalizing Shrugs political party if you'd like. Who would like to be president of the Regalizing Shrugs political party? Would you like to be president, Zandy, or maybe Geo Niggy Yugi or Hambone? I'm planning on being encouraging supporter. That's my role. I'll be underling in the Regalizing Shrugs party. My shrugs aren't that regal yet. I need to work on them. I want to project a lot of majesty with each shrug. Hi there. Hi, neighbor. How you doing? How good are ISFP's SI? Well, because if the person who's going to be president should be the person with the most regal shrugs. Aren't the Basura children just awful today? They were so fucking loud. They were screaming their heads off all fucking day. It's like, what the hell, Basuras? Those people are awful. And I know Kim and I scream at each other sometimes. Sure, my neighbor here could tell you some stories. We don't do a very good job of controlling the FE of our fights very well. You saw Endgame, it was pretty great. I enjoyed it too, but it wasn't as good as Infinity War, in my opinion. Okay, but see, the thing is, this is the problem, Hambone. If I can't see your shrugs, then I'm always running the risk of totally overestimating the regalness of my own shrugs. The FE catastrophe that could follow if I'm going around presuming my shrugs are more regal than other people's because I can't see theirs, and then declare myself president, and then everyone notices and laughs at me because my shrugs are less regal, well, that's what I'm trying to avoid. It's a third slot FE thing. I mean, is there anybody who really opposes the legalizing of shrugs? I'm glad that first plush is done. I hope it's as plushy can be. I can be a temporary president. Okay, I'll be interim president, pending the determination of whose shrugs are most regal. Right. Well, when people come out here in June, we're going to have sashes. I don't know if you guys are aware of the sash ceremony that's coming up, but somebody might get most regal shrugs. That's a possible sash somebody could earn, depending on how regal their shrugs are, of course. I wouldn't want to arbitrarily award something as important as that. Probably they'll get interviewed by Good Morning America after they've won the sash for most regal shrugs. Be a national story, I'm sure. Oh my God, did you hear they finally declared a winner of most regal shrugs? Oh, yeah, she got the sash. A woman won it? Well, it's the 21st century now. Even a woman's shrugs can be regal. Sharks are your favorite sea creators, huh? You mean creatures? I like sea creators as a notion for sharks. Okay, now this is interesting. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, of course. Well, if you're president, you can nominate anybody to be anything. You could nominate yourself to be ruler of the world. Yeah, why not Hambone? Well, yeah, because, Zandy's not been that impressed with your ham boning skills lately. Last time you gave her a ham, it still had some bones in it. Okay, you're supposed to take those out, ham bone. If your name is Amber, I appreciate it very much, Amber. What do you mean you don't belong here? Are you singing Radiohead to us? I don't belong here. Kimberly's still inside the house at the moment. You are a beast. A beast of the east. And I just packed this. Now look, what it is, I'll admit, Amber, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a roach. But I put some of this very high quality honey pot stuff on it. Now this is from the best company to get this kind of shit from. The one that stands out by far over all the others. THC Clear. It's just the most expensive, but occasionally if you come across it, you might as well get it because it's like straight up meow. So let me get the torch so I can transubstantiate this properly. For the much deserving Amber Drescher. Here it is. I'm not even going to be able to pull this whole thing in one because the oil makes it burn real slow. Hereby do I transubstantiate thee. Well, that's an interesting claim, 17X. How would you like to substantiate it? If in fact you're correct and I need to adjust my definitions, I'd like to hurry up and do so. I'd not like to dwell in the realm of wrongness for so long, so please fill us in. Why is it that I'm wrong, and explain why your explanation of the mechanism is preferable. I'm proud to say that I was very FE successful tonight at the dinner party. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Hambone. Did you greet people with a hearty handshake and a look in the eye and a good evening? Happy Memorial Day. Pro tip, wear sunglasses. Did you have your self-esteem boosting limbless action figure attached? Is that what made you be so successful? Remember, folks, to improve self-esteem, you simply attach your limbless action figure right here. Keeps your chin up. See? Chin up. You might think a limbless action figure can't do very much. You'd be wrong. It can boost your self-esteem. The information action ratio is an important indicator. Does anybody knows how to make a game? I know how to make a card game. First, you make one up. Okay, so if SE is new experiences, then I mean, well, what do you mean by is it a process of attention or something else? Is it an experience? And the point is, that's not a warrant. That's just more claims. You're not justifying your claims with anything. You have to say, here's where I differ from you, Eric, in your understanding, and here's why mine is preferable. I understand the mechanics you present, but I've noticed something wrong with it, Eric. Contradiction or something. Here it is. And here's why we ought to prefer my definition. If you don't want to say any of those things, then you're just spouting off random statements for no reason. Hambone had Bobby the Body Only Bodybuilder with him. That's a very, very special edition of limbless action figure that is responsible for apparently 1.7 times the self-esteem boost of normal limbless action figure. So good to hear. I had an interview yesterday, and I think I used too much FE, almost felt fakish. I think the manager liked me, but I'm not sure if it's enough to get hired. What do you mean by too much FE? You think, were you trying to FE too much, or you think it's just you naturally FE a lot?
Too much FE can't get you in trouble as much as too little. Job interview?
Was it? Yeah, it was a job interview.
They want to see that anyway. They want to see the gay as you can possibly be.
Yeah. In the old-fashioned sense, Thank you, Amber Drasher, for the air hugs.
Thank you.
As well as the super chat, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
You are a beautiful, gorgeous soul. Okay, and I know that you were just telling Hambone and Zandy, but I went ahead and co-opted some of that for myself and Kimberly too, because you already did say something like that for me and Kimberly, I think, anyway. So I just want to tell you, it is you who are a beautiful, gorgeous soul. Which song is going to get stuck inside my head? Call Me Maybe? It already has. Hi, Sheila W. How are you today? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Caterpillar time. Indeed. It is caterpillar time. Okay, fine. Okay, well, but see, 17X, you don't seem to understand. If you want to actually get me to think it's worth paying attention to your long story, you should begin with an accurate and eye-opening critique of my existing model and say, here's something that you said that's actually wrong mechanically in some way. Don't just make claims to the contrary. That's silly. Point to what I did wrong first. And by saying, you've got SE and SI wrong. No. It doesn't work like that. Understand what a process is first, and then explain how the process definitions contradict or overlap in some way that's not It doesn't represent what it should. You're not prepared to do any of that stuff, so just zip it.
Hi, Zandy. I didn't want to get in the way of Eric's hammer.
Are you kidding me? If that was a hammer, it's covered in pillows. Well, it's just explaining reality. Thor's hammer. Yeah, well, I haven't busted out Thor's hammer in a while. I got to be pretty pissed to bust out the biggest of my hammers and really lay into somebody. I mean, I get that kind of shit all the time. 17X is doing. I get that every day. I get that every single day on videos. At least one or two people will say some random shit like, "You're wrong about blah." It's always the same sort of shit. It's like they wanted to define it differently. They don't really understand why they wanted to define it differently. They don't understand how that interfaces with my understanding of things. They aren't prepared to critique. They aren't prepared for the arguments. They haven't really parsed it out properly, and they don't understand all the dynamics. So that's the reality of it. Bye, Colby. Have a pleasant evening. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
Oh, Colby.
Oh, Colby. So, anywho, it's like I'm totally interested in refining what I believe to be the correctest understanding of cognitive functions available.
Hello?
Katie, I bought like popsicles, and I'm wondering, can I put them in the freezer?
Yeah.
Can I walk in the kitchen? Maybe?
Oh yeah. We're all done with all that stuff.
Huh?
Yeah, we're done with all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no more poison around or limits about that or anything.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go put something in the freezer now.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Bye.
You really just have to tell people we put new flooring and you don't need
Huh?
You really just can tell people we put new flooring.
We did put new flooring in.
Mm-hmm.
We also fucking fogged the place because,
the rain brought out the bugs.
Better to kill all the bugs than not. So, anyway, tonight, we've got to get back on topic. We're regalizing shrugs. Okay, well, maybe I am. But the thing is, then 17X, this is not a good forum for you to make those claims, obviously. Email me, say, I want to make a video with you, Eric. I'm convinced you're wrong about these things, and I'm ready to win the point. Okay, great. Let's have the debate. But this is obviously not the forum for it. If you want to explain something that's long and complicated, then why would you choose to do it in the live chat of the live stream? Because obviously, I'm going to immediately start asking you questions to clarify, and you're going to immediately go to this 200-word limit complaint. Remember, you have a choice. You can contact me via email, you can call me, you can text me. All my shit's out there, right? So if in fact you want to default to, I can't critique what you're saying because you're stuck with the 200-character limit or whatever, 200-word limit, well, then obviously don't raise those concerns here. I didn't choose the word limit. I'm not in charge of YouTube rules. I'm not the YouTube police. I'm just the type police. And you, 17X, are going to jail for impudence. How do you like that?
Look at the floor in the imitation kitchen.
I see. It's the same almost, yeah. This spring has been cold. It's freezing here. We had snow on the mountains this morning, on the top of the mountains here in Laverne, like at 4,000 feet probably. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it in Los Angeles at the end of May. This is the thing. I want to go back to this whole 17X thing. So, 17X, are you ready to go make a video with me right now and debate the subject? And beat me by winning the argument chains?
Debate.
Are you?
Debate.
If you're so sure of what you're saying,
debate.
Kimberly,
Sorry.
if you're so sure of what you're saying, then are you down to do that? Bum, bum, bum,
Is
bum.
that bad, Effie?
I'm just making a point, you know.
Mine.
I know this is old, but why is he just oblivious to the fact that he is low in FE? It's obviously not ENTP. Well, I think he sort of stuck himself with that narrative now, and he doesn't know quite how to get away from it without losing credibility, and so he's just sort of writing it out. But I don't know. It's a C.S. Joseph thing. I wouldn't understand. Warmth and sunshine for everybody. I'm going to deliver 4 milliliters of warmth to Zandy, 6 milliliters of warmth to Rebecca. Tyler, you get 5 milliliters of warmth. And Gintier, you get 3 joules of warmth. And only Wiz Sauce gets sunshine, but he gets no warmth. Just sunshine, just the cold, sterile light of the sun without any of its warmth. This is the most tragic of the stories, really. You're welcome, Zandy. Do you think typology can be a bit reductive? Yeah, I mean, sure. I think it often is reductive because people understand it as correlates or something rather than as processes. So, it's like because people read type descriptions and think, well, this is what a Obama is, and I want to be that, or I am that, or this means I'm this way or that way. If we don't understand functions as foremost expressions of self and processes and not characters we get to be, then we're understanding them wrong. And I think the way a lot of people understand them is wrong, and so they do use it in ways that are reductive. But I think when approached from the correct angle, which is to say a way of giving a lexicon to expressions of consciousness across time that can be employed successfully to describe humans in a more effective and more accurate way than they've heretofore been described by any other mechanism. And to do it properly is to describe people better than they've been described before by this mechanism, because of the reality that this mechanism of understanding human experience is used badly by so many people and is incorrect in so many understandings of it. It's 17 degrees Celsius down in Kiwi land. Oh, that's not what you're disagreeing with, Hambone. You're disagreeing with we can all do everything. Sheila, listen, none of us can do anything. All right? Not a goddamn thing. You can't, I can't, Angantar can't. We're all completely useless. So there's no point living in denial town any longer. Just admit it. None of us can do anything. Well, apparently it's 15 here, but I've been inside all day. 15 C's? You must live in a foreign country. Only foreign countries use C's. The proper letter you use is F, okay? Stands for Fahrenheit. Take your Celsius and shove it up your ass. Nobody likes Celsius, okay? Can you believe these Celsioids, Kimberly? They're Celsius, they're centigrade. They can't even decide which C word to use. They go back and forth. When clearly F stands for fuck you, Celsius. Fahrenheit instead. Obviously. Can you add a function that is missing in the stack? No, you mean, are there other functions that haven't been accounted for yet? No. Or do you mean, can you toss in some extra function where you want to? No, it doesn't really work like that. Inga Jansen, probably a dumb question, but can you get messed up in childhood and develop a totally different functional stack? No. However, getting messed up in childhood will cause your function stack to display differently, for sure. So you may find yourself like not matching up with type descriptions again, but that's not. But that doesn't mean that you have a different function stack. It just means that the type descriptions are typically going to be descriptions of an average composite kind of understanding of what it would be if you had those functions and weren't an actual human being.
Okay, it's midnight. I'm going to bed. I have to work in the morning.
Okay, I'll be in bed in a little bit too. Give me another half an hour.
I'll see you in 2 hours.
Oh, Kimberly. That may be true, but you're still not supposed to say it. So just believe me when I say it's going to be here. Can you close the door behind you, please? It's very important to keep the garage door closed when it's cold like this. But I got this curtain here to keep the warmth over in this area. I got this heater, and I've got the garage door, and if they're all closed, I'm pretty snug over here in this corner, even if I'm not super well clad in winter gear. I'm not at the moment. It's the You Betcha takeover. What is that? You Betcha takeover? No, Jansen, Inga Jansen, there's no such thing as going into your shadow. There is such a thing as retreating into your fourth function in the face of trauma. But, it basically means you're for some of the rare moments, like turning off your dominant function and sort of enveloping yourself in your fourth. There's no such thing as going into your shadow or any of the C.S. Joseph nonsense. And there's no reason to think that there would be, right? That's why it's important to be operating out of a TISM model. You got to understand things in terms of operational definitions. They need to be operationalized, which has a specific meaning and assigns a certain burden to the person making the model. And if you think there are such things as going into your shadow, then you are not operating adequately on a TI level. So your model's wrong. Let's see. C.S. Joseph said his ex-wife is ESFP, which sounded like an ESTP. It seems people don't know the difference between ESTPs and ESFPs. Well, maybe they need to administer more TI polar tests to them. And then they'd be able to tell the difference. The thing is, ESTPs and ESFPs, I guess they'd look very much the same in a lot of SE contexts, where there's the following through on actions already decided kind of aspect to it, and or the real-time engagement in the environment in the moment. And so in those settings, it's very plausible, for example, an ENTP and an ENFP to sit around and make jokes back and forth with each other and be more or less identical to any third party, because neither of the parties is engaging via their deliberation functions, just via their action function, their expert intuition, and via their interface understanding, I guess. So it doesn't necessarily contradict. It doesn't necessarily provide you anything that can distinguish between the two. Same thing with ESFP and ESTP, except only in certain contexts. Same with ESF. Same with ENFP and ENTP. If you can give me the final right answer now, then tell me what it is. But remember, the answer is what it is that I'm doing wrong, or what mechanism justifies it, not just random claims. Okay? Can you do that? Like I said, if you're so sure you're right, let's have a debate right now. I'll end this live stream and debate you, and then upload it right away when we're done. Okay? You can meet me in the TWFP room or the autonomy room. We can do it right now. We can debate the fuck out of it. You want to? 17X? Are you so sure you're right? You're really going to be able to answer all my questions as well as I'm going to be able to answer yours? Your shit's really going to be as consistent as mine is? Really? But it disagrees with me. Yeah, that's probably better, Himbone. I don't know, Sheila. I just did you? I don't even remember you emailing me, but I guess you must have recently and said something. I don't know. I think I made a video and said, "Hopefully you're here, Sheila," and figure that sort of addressed the question. I don't know. I'm up in the air on ISFPs. I'm trying to figure out still how ISFPs answer those kind of test questions differently than ISTPs, because you see, my position on things 17x is derived from actually typing lots of people and actually seeking lots of information from other people and taking all the good ideas and jettisoning the bad ones to make sure it's TI sound as a case with all operationalized definitions. Do you know what that means, 17x? Have you done it with your own understanding? And if so, can you tell me the various vectors in the mechanics? But you can't answer any of those questions. You don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? I mean, when did you email me? Or when did I say I was going to email you? I mean, I don't know. I'm not opposed to talking to you again, but about it. But it's like I don't know what else I can conclude from the information. I mean, I've had plenty of information to work with. You're a little bit of a mystery, but I guess what it seems to me is you're not going to be satisfied until I tell you you're an ISFP, and I don't think I'm prepared to tell you that. So, you know. All right, well, let's go, 17X. Tough guy. Let's go, motherfucker, right now. You gonna show up? I'm in the appear.in/autonomy room right now. No face, no talk, no voice. You can type. Well, I mean, that sure is being rather presumptuous of my time and energy, don't you think? That I have to sit there and deal with your communicating on your terms exactly, which are super slow and inefficient, just so I can what? Debate you about what? You haven't even said anything worth even fucking responding to yet. You haven't answered any of my questions. I've actually asked questions of you, like, do you have a mechanism? I'm in the room waiting. You're not there yet. Where are you? I thought you said you were going to come in there and start typing at me. Well, go ahead. Come and type at me. In there, you can have a more room to type. Go ahead. Why aren't you there yet, 17X? I'm here. I'm in the room. I'm at appear.in/autonomy. Anybody can come in here and see me right now and check to make sure I'm not lying. Well, where are you? Come on, 17X. I'm still waiting for you. It took me 5 seconds to get there. Why is it taking you so long? Don't you want to debate me about the subject? Aren't you well prepared and you actually understand all the things I'm talking about? And you've got a better version of it and you're ready to school the fuck out of me? Come on. You can type in there, but do you actually expect me to sit there and fucking wait for you to type out all your shit and then read it? Are you serious? If you're so confident you're right, then get on fucking camera and stand behind what you say. I mean, don't be a coward. I'm not even a poser. Posers at least have a little courage to pose. He's just a coward. Come on, pose. Pose for us. Let's see your face. Let's hear your voice. You're just gonna type. At least let's hear your voice. Come on now. So you're not gonna let me hear your voice. You're not gonna let me see your face. You're gonna respond in text only, which allows you to control the timing of things as you want to. And those are your terms. I mean, it's going to be impossibly slow. And there's going to be no back and forth. There's going to be no clash. You'll just avoid you haven't even answered any of my questions yet. You're still not in the fucking room. Still here arguing about the terms. Get in there and fucking debate, asswipe. You're so goddamn sure you're right. Come on. Be a man, for God's sake. Or a woman, whatever the fuck gender you are. Come on, pussy. Get the sand out of your vagina and get your ass in here. I'm still fucking waiting. You're not here typing or on camera or talking. So it's just all bluster, all bravado? Do you have nothing worth saying of any value at all? Come on, shit for brains. Well, I'm in here waiting. You're not here, shit for brains. Come on, retard. Get your ass in here. Type. Type your little fingers off. Fucking look me in the eye and tell me this shit. You worthless fucking coward. Jesus Christ. I'm in there. I'm going to continue live streaming while you're doing this because might as well, because it's going to take you forever to type anything anyway. Have you answered any of my questions yet? No. Go ahead. I'm still waiting here for you. You're still not here. So anyway, I can destroy him with half my attention anyway. Thanks, Charles. Good advice. That's ISFP caring for me. I appreciate that. Let's see if he's shown up there. Nope, still not there. Okay, so let's see. Tyler Peterson. Who wants to debate me via land mail? I've got plenty of stamps. All right. What is this? Says Guido Torpedo. This is the greatest experience of your entire life, is what this is. Before, right now, you were like, fuck, my life sucks ass. But now you realize your life's fucking fantastic. And that's the difference between before now and afterwards from now. Dying for a smoke. Well, you should have one. Is there a higher than normal amount of smokers in the BTI community? Probably, because no. I'm in autonomy 17X. I told you that. I'll put it here. I wish somebody, I mean, I guess you 17X, I gotta give you credit. You're braver than most people who try to spew bullshit, because at least you want to come type your bullshit at me and sort of debate me. Most of them just run in terror. But you'll get destroyed, so be prepared for that. I love bald eagles, except when they want to eat my chickens. You can still love them. Just discourage them from eating your chickens. Hey, Deep Mind, comma, how are you this evening? Are you made entirely out of cheese or some other product? Did you break both of your knees when you went and saw it? Vegan eagles. Sounds like the world's wussiest motorcycle gang. We're the vegan eagles. Are you actually vegans? No, we just thought it sounded tough. What in the world made you think that? Is Rastafarianism the right religion? And does everybody else go to hell? Do I have any songs on iTunes? I don't know. Probably, maybe. I'm not sure. Probably one of the albums that Yedlin Records put out one of my records, and that one is probably on iTunes. So that was like officially put out as a record. I know. I'm actually right. Correct. I'm the one who's brave, remember? I'm the one who's inviting you to debate and encouraging it. You're the one who's here in text only in the chat. So yeah. Bravery I know all about. Okay. Have you done any research, first of all, Mr. 17X, about what it is my position is on things? How much research have you done? The Vegan Eagles. Me and the Vegan Eagles were walking one day, and I said, hey, let's go eat a bunch of meat. And they're like, all right. So we did. And then some Sandy came up to us, and she's like, that's not vegan. And we're like, yeah, it is. End of the story. It's a pretty boring story, really. Okay, so 17X, go ahead. Let's see what you're going to say here. Oh, you want to focus solely on SE versus SI. Your claim is that SE is new experiences, well, SI is both. Okay, well, my question was, are you understanding SE and SI as processes or something else? I mean, I agree that SI comprises keeping track of old experiences. That's true. Okay, if you're asking me, what do you mean by processes? A manner of attention is a process, an attentional process by which information is sought, found, brought in, and rendered in some fashion. Or it could be a relationship between objects already. If you don't even understand that there are four fields, right? There are four fields upon which human beings operate: internal metaphysical, external metaphysical, internal physical, external metaphysical. Do you understand that much? Because SE and SI are different kinds of functions. SI is a knowledge function and SE is an action function. So SI does keep track of things. It knows things. It's a learning function. But SE is not. And that's simply the reality of the processes understanding, is that they don't occupy the same niche necessarily. You know, it's the mechanics of the whole thing. You're not prepared to argue this. This guy's totally not prepared to argue this. I have a question about Polar. If you tell Kim a TE thing, will she be able to remember it? She'll probably ignore it unless I hammer it home. Like, I'll say, no, do this first, do this thing first, Kim, and then maybe she will or maybe she won't, you know. And if I try to give her, like, if I try to talk to her about ordinals, see, this is one of the points of conflict we always kind of have, is that she'll discuss some plan of hers, some notion of hers that it suggests that she's got no sense of remembering that these other tasks here are going to take a long time. She's got no sense of how long something's going to take or how difficult it's going to be or any of that kind of shit. Good night, Eric. Good night, Bruce Wayne. Let's see. Let's see what else homie has to say here. TI technicalities, I see. I don't think we need the terminologies to discuss. We don't need the terminology to discuss these points and the stances. Can you believe this guy? This is what 17X is saying over here. TI technicalities, I see. I don't think we need the terminologies to discuss these points and the stances. Of course we do. You don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about a process, a value, a display correlate? Those are different things. Which one are you talking about? No, both SI and SE are not doing functions. Why do you make that claim? Introverted sensing is about sensing your body and remembering your experiences, like you said. That's not a doing function. It's different, right? There are different ways of being. Some of them are doing, and some of them are something else, like knowing or deliberating. They're different. No, you are just attaching a name to said things. Just say said things, not the name you have given them. No, listen to me. You're making claims about what SI and SE are. I have a complex understanding that is fairly well complete about the functions they're different, why they're different this way or that way, and why we ought to use this term or that term, and why some other term doesn't work, because if you use that term, it will conflict with something else in the model. I've got it broken down to a set of mechanical processes where it could be modeled by a computer, simulated, okay, with put, get, receive as basically the machine code functions, okay? So when you're trying to respond to me as though none of that stuff mattered, it means you're an idiot. And it's not worth debating with you at all. You don't know anything. I mean, and you call all the most relevant factors in understanding cognitive functions TI technicalities. You're just talking in metaphor, dude. You don't deserve enough respect from me to actually sit here and debate you. You don't know anything about how to model a dynamic system. There's a math to it. It's actually a thing, right? It's not just whatever you feel like. It's like, do you think the reason we're able to talk here is because somebody modeled this ecosystem by just willy-nilly attaching definitions to things? That doesn't matter what class it's in, whether it's an object or field or set or whatever. It doesn't matter. Those are just TI technicalities. If the internet were built by you, there wouldn't be an internet. It would just be a big pile of shit. Modeling things requires mechanics. Retard. Goodbye. That's enough of him. So anyway, how do you spot an NI DOM? How do you look for NI in a person when typing them? I don't really look that much directly for it. It's just like I look for other things, and then I'll sort of recognize it somewhere. So let's say I'm looking for NI. NI DOMs have a certain flavor of NI. I'm much more capable of looking for NI. So much more so that I'm more capable of looking for the nuanced fifth slot flavor of NI than I am at looking for NI directly as a dominant function. And it has to do with just being more comfortable with my own functions. I'm always better off trying to identify where my functions are in their stack than where things that aren't my conscious functions are. Because I'm just not, TE is I'm getting pretty good at identifying TE. That's something that's taken a little bit of a while, but, so yeah, but when I do look for NI, I don't have a good, clear NI test yet. I would say that the best way to test for NI is to ask about how people know things and what it means to learn. So it's like, if I say, well, how do you know you ate dinner 3 days ago? Most people will say, well, because I always eat dinner, at some point. Or they might say, I don't know that I did. Sometimes I skip dinner. Or they might think back 3 days ago. Let's see. 3 days ago was Friday. Okay, what did I eat on Friday for dinner? Can I remember it? Let's see. I don't remember exactly, but I was having, I don't know, I could normally remember something like that, but I don't remember exactly. There was a great answer earlier about the cognitive functions. Thank you. Some friends claim I'm ENTJ, whereas I think I'm INTJ. Do you have any advice on how to differentiate between types? Yes, it's the SI polar test. You just say, if you can provide me with some tugging on your own memory, if you can provide me some detailed stories, like, for example, let me see if I can come up with an actual one from recently. What did we do yesterday? Oh, okay, well, at the Lowe's. So I went to Lowe's earlier today to get flooring things we're putting on the floor in the kitchen, and I also had this little screw, which is called, I forget what they call it now, but it's this little screw that we're missing one of, and I need to get another one, and it's a very specific kind of screw that goes. It's this thing. It's not a screw. It's like an inverted bolt. It's got like a hole in it too. So anyway, I asked this one lady in the gardening section where I might be able to. But that was after I went to look for this. I asked for this lady in the gardening section where I could get the turny thing for the hose, and because I figured it'd be in the gardening section. She's like, "Oh, hose stuff's on aisle 25, all the way at the other end of the store." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I walked down there. There was no aisle 25. It like ended at 18 or 19. I thought, did that bitch just send me all the way down here just to fuck with me? But it turned out it was all the way at the end. She just had the number wrong. So that's an example of a little story from my recent past with some personal details and some yada yada. So the question then is, can you come up with that shit? Can you come up with little stories like that? Not can you, but actually try to do it and see what comes out. Do you have the details at your disposal to draw from? If you do, or if you can manage to pull those out with some effort, then you are probably an INTJ. And if you find it very difficult to pull those out, then you're an ENTJ. That's bipolar. NI equal narrowing of the possible singularization of ideas, synthesis of abstracts, projection in the future, seeing your fate. He didn't cower. We had a bit of a Dunning-Kruger thing going on there. He didn't realize how desperately ignorant he was of the matter. And so he actually believed himself to be up to the challenge for a second. I believed he might be up to the challenge for a second too, until he dismissed my totally legitimate and basic questions as TI technicalities, at which point I realized he doesn't know anything. He's not interested in actually modeling the thing or being real about it at all. So if he can't answer my questions, then he's not interested in having a debate. If he's just interested in dismissing my questions as TI technicalities, then he's not interested in having a debate. I can answer all of his questions. Would be happy to answer any questions. But he doesn't want to ask questions. He wants to make random claims and ignore my questions or dismiss them. So that means he's not serious and that shouldn't be taken seriously. It's not a better or worse memory. It's a more experiential memory. So all the different types take varying degrees of the high resolution memory, which is like the details of the experience, and varying degrees of the low resolution memory, which is the lessons learned from the experience. And so the thing about that is if you're an ENTJ, you're maximally efficient in your memory, as is ENFJ, which is to say you only take away the lessons and none of the personal experience or the details, really. And as a consequence, you test positive for SI polar when I give the SI polar test. And the SI polar test is what I just did, basically. I start asking you about a lot of little details about your past and where you got. You tell me something about yourself, and so why do you conclude that? And then, okay, well, you can give me any examples of that. And then usually, it becomes pretty obvious pretty quick. ENTJs simply can't do it. They just don't have any of those examples at their disposal. They just don't use that kind of knowledge function. No, 17X, I'm saying if you're not distinguishing between processes and display correlates, then you're not at stage 1 of understanding cognitive functions. Because stage 1 is making that clear distinction, realizing that, okay, we're not talking about types, we're not talking about functions as objects of analysis, we're understanding functions as processes, manners of attention. You're not making that distinction. So you're not ready to debate me by a long margin, okay? And you don't even know what I mean when I'm saying that. So you're really, really not ready to debate me. And when you do ask me what I mean, and I tell you, instead of using the information meaningfully to answer my question, you dismiss it as a technicality. So you're really, 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 really not ready to debate me. So that's reality. And sometimes it hits you in the head with like a plank of lumber. You weren't a complete coward, and you didn't cower. You were there trying to battle, but it's like I said, it's a Dunning-Kruger thing. You're so ignorant, you don't know how ignorant you are. And so as a consequence, it's like, you're like a little kid trying to get onto the court with a professional basketball player and think he's going to win. They're never going to happen because you don't have the skill, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the experience, you don't have the age, you don't have the capacity. It's just, it's ridiculous. Okay, so, would this be possible that the polar is actually related to A-slot, ISJ, TE, and I having trouble knowing whether, remember one that's not efficient, INFJ, TESI having troubles remembering the good TE option, remember the very good TE option. I just don't think TE remembers like that because, see, TE is specifically the logics of the individual systems, so they don't generalize. It's logics that don't generalize. That's the core quality of TE. If it does generalize and it does break down into heuristics, then you're getting into TI, because then you're talking about things that are communicatively defensible in some regard. And that's not TE logic. So it's like, even if I fix a doorknob, the next doorknob I fix might not be the same kind of doorknob. It might have a different problem. It's not necessarily going to be informative even on the new experience. There are some heuristics that work pretty well, like right tool for the right job is something I always tell myself. Like, don't try to use this half-ass tool. Spend the time to figure out which is the right tool for this and then use that rather than rush to use some tool and try to make it happen. What's the disagreement about? I'm a little late to the party. I don't think we're really disagreeing about anything. No, he did. He was there. He showed up. He argued with me for a little while. He did show up. So let's say I've been through something recently, and after or during the conversation, I tell you that I not only learned from it, but I didn't personally like the experience. What could that be? Well, I mean, that's not going to be distinguishing between INTJ and ENTJ probably, because they both have FI, and knowing what your personal feelings are about it are going to be common to both types. But okay, no, 17X, again, I didn't dismiss you based on your very little knowledge. I dismissed you on your unwillingness to answer my questions. Okay? So being in a debate means you got to answer the other person's questions. If you don't answer them, if you refuse to respond to questioning, then you're saying, I don't want to debate. And when you just dismiss my questions as TI technicalities, then you're saying, I don't want to actually debate you and engage your ideas. I just want to not have to clash, not have to have any argumentational clash. So the responsibility on the part of both debaters to be responsive in the debate. Okay? So that's not why I dismissed you because you didn't know anything. It's because you weren't interested in learning that you didn't know anything. That's what made it Dunning-Kruger. Okay? You wanted to waste my time by not answering my questions, even though we're debating. As people who are debating, you need to answer my questions and I have to answer yours, or else we won't get anywhere. You're just wasting my time. So no, I'm not going to do that, obviously. Yeah, and I said, well, what do you mean SE is new experiences? So if I show you a new experience on a video, is that SE, that video, or what? What is, you're not using words well, is the problem. You should never say something like SE is new experiences. What the fuck does that mean? Is that an intentional manner? Is new experience an intentional manner? Is that how you pay attention? What do you mean? You don't know what you mean. That's the problem. I don't think you should overcome your seventh. You should have good people around to compensate for it. Going at it yourself is just going to fuck you up for my research. I think you should have a duel who doesn't really care about it, countervalues it. And in that case, neither of you care about each other's polar, and it works out pretty fine. You just, oh, Jesus, 17X. Look, okay, so let me ask you a question. When you say SE is new experiences, do you think that a function exists independent of a person? Are you talking about how a person pays attention or something else? Answer the question, please. Hi, Becky. No, because listen, but I just asked you a question, 17X. So, do you believe when you say SE is new experiences that you're talking about an object of analysis? SE is a cognitive function, is an object of analysis. Do you think you're referring to an intentional manner that a person expresses through time or something else? That's a perfectly reasonable question. If you want to show me that you actually are worth talking to about anything, then answer the question. It's not a false dichotomy. I added or something else. Nothing to complain about. If something else, please tell me what it is. Come on, 17X. Which one? Chop chop. If I say dog is a mammal, what I mean by mammal is I'm referring to a class of animals and a taxonomy of animals. So I know what I mean when I say mammal. What do you mean when you say SE is new experience? What's new experience? Is it a class of animal or come on? Help me out here, sport. Come on. It can't take you that long to type one of those 2-word answers. Well, are you sure you're prepared to debate this? You want me to define SE in a few words? Okay, well, he needs to answer the question, Bruce Wayne. He's the one who comes in all flaming, Okay, so answer the question, 17X. Are you just wasting everybody's time? It was a very straightforward question. I asked it twice. Go ahead. Answer the question. Prove to me that you're not completely retarded. SE is not power awareness either. SE is just yes, it's physical. It's the doing part of things. It's the execution of action. That's simple. It's additionally there's a cross time element to it, which has to do with managing, I guess, how impacts affect systems over time, kind of, and that sort of thing. But that power thing is a misunderstanding of SE. It's a correlate, not a process. It's not even a very solid correlate. It's like there's an expression of confidence in terms of acting in the moment that may come across as that, but that's just being an action type means being comfortable being an action type. So I don't know that I don't think that's even a value that correlates with it. I think it may correlate with SEFE, but not with Yeah, I hate the socionics idea of how SE senses power structures. It's also weird how INTPs kick out of it, plus minus shit. That's just bullshit. Um, it doesn't work like that. The bottom line, it's like the thing to remember is we're talking about very machine codey things, upon which lots of correlates grow, and upon which, when we're talking about shit, it's very easy to talk about the correlates and mistake them for the attentional manners, but the attentional manner of SE is difficult to talk about because it's not word based. It's the stuff that's not word based that you do. But it's more than just that. It's like managing the actions. Managing, like, if you look at an SI DOM, you get a good sense of what SE is. Kimberly's always remembering what she's supposed to be doing, what she had on the plan, and the next thing that comes to her mind is never going to be some new idea that takes her away from that. It's going to be, oh shoot, I got to finish up with that thing I was doing. It's following through on all the steps to complete the action. That's part of SE and SI, and that's why they're always on opposite sides of each other, because they go together like that. That doesn't mean that SE is experiencing new things and that Eric's wrong about something because SE is experiencing new things. That's just, it's true that the value that generally associates with SE is change. That's true. You're not proving me wrong or disagreeing with me even there. So it's like when you come in and say, Eric, you're wrong about SE and SI, and you say things in different units, unaware that you're doing so, and unaware that if you had the units right or matching, you wouldn't even be disagreeing with me, then obviously I'm going to roll my eyes at the absurdity, right? The point is you don't have a clear understanding of what your perspective's frame is. I can tell you what each of the frames is for each of the perspectives I'm presenting and how they differ and why the distinctions matter. That's the difference. See, you can't do that because you haven't thought it through adequately. There's one thing that I was like, well, sure, you can see, yeah. There's one thing I was like, about, because my mom's an ESFJ and NI polar is apparently her not knowing what she wants, but that doesn't ring true to her at all. It's not knowing what she wants. No, NI polar is not understanding what something is determinate. And what that means is never really making a final decision about anything, saying things are final decisions and then changing your mind and, etc. Okay, well, it is true that, but that's also true of every experience, right? Every experience you have is new, and every experience is one that you've never had before. There are no repeated experiences. There are repeated plans, there are repeated actions, but there are not repeated experiences, correct? So since but see, SI are experiences that you have. Okay, well, they're not experiences that you have, they're memories that you have. They're right. You're keeping memories of experiences. You see the difference? One is a real-time expression of being in the moment, like the experience we're having right now. Like the experience of your ass being sore from getting kicked so badly. Right? That's a real-time experience. You're feeling it and going, ouch, ouch. But in contrast, later on, when you remember getting your ass kicked, it'll just be a memory. Your ass won't actually hurt, except in metaphysical sense. So there's a difference, see? And it matters to use words correctly rather than incorrectly. Okay, so Digivolved. Does that make me a Digimon? People see me as an extrovert, except for me. I'm very articulated, but still I speak at a steady, slower pace than most extroverted people. Well, ENTJs are I think they're realistically the least extroverted extrovert. And remember that the thing about extroverted functions is that they mean that the focus is external in some regard, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're extrovert in the colloquial sense of being socially extroverted. It just means that your attentional manner and its extroversion is directed towards external things. In your case, if your TE Dom is directed towards managing the specific and distinct logics of various dynamic systems, not communication. And so that kind of extroversion doesn't necessarily correlate with social, what's the word? Social gregariousness. Yeah, that's the word. Where is there any cigarette here? This will get this will do here. This will be fine. ENTJs are extroverted for the TE desires to control. It's that I don't see that as necessarily a TE thing, the desire to control. It just manifests like that because the thing is, when you frame everything in life as either a problem to be solved or a goal to be attained, then the people necessarily become kind of instrumental. The 8-slot FE is instrumental to their dominant TE. And so it's going to play out like that a lot. That it seems like ENTJs want to control everything or control freaks. But really, they're just saying, I'm trying to achieve goals and I'm trying to solve problems. And hopefully, I'm solving our problems and achieving our goals. And if I am, then I appreciate your cooperation as much as possible because in the end, cooperating with me is going to be the best thing for both of us. So that's their line of thinking. They're not really love to control. It's just they need to be the solver on the team. They have to be the solver and they have to be the goal meter on the team. Yeah, I know. Essential Brad, what you said was not incorrect at all. It's just it made me think about how it's unfortunate that the TE Doms got such a rep as being control freaks. I try to, I find myself liking TE Doms a lot, surprisingly. So I don't know, I find myself defending them a little bit. You use it sometimes in moments abstract. It's more like displays of empathy that bother you guys. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Oh, bacon. Hey, I found bacon. Listen, you're not supposed to make. Don't say that out loud. Jeez. You're reminding me of things I don't want to remember. Okay, that's why I got the bad SI, so I can say I'm going to be in there in 30 minutes and legitimately forget about it. If you remind me, then I'm going to have an obligation to fulfill that duty again. See how it works? Take some bacon, put it in a pancake. Take some pancake, put it in a bacon. What you got? Bacon, pancake, bacon, pancake. Double bacon, double pancake. With a little piece of meatloaf stuffed in the middle. Just put some meatloaf in there. Oh, yeah. First, you make a pancake with some bacon. Then you make a bacon with some pancake. And that's how you make bacon pancakes. That's the truth, Rebecca Talibi. That's how you make them. Is that a TE process? How to make the bacon pancakes? Yeah. That's my TE poll description of bacon pancakes. Here it is. First, you go get a pig. And then you get some wheats, okay? And you got to grind them all up together somehow. Oh, wait, let me go back. First, you got to be born. I find it a pain to manage people, though. I can do it, but I've always been more of a lone. People around me are usually very incompetent and helpless, spoken like an NTJ. I find I really like ENTJs because they give the best advice. They really do. And they know how to give advice well, too. So, it's like I'd call them actually excellent solvers. They seem to take some satisfaction in solving other people's problems too. So, like, go for it. Give me your great ENTJ advice. You find this amusing? Of course, I find it amusing. Like, I mean, I should be in bed, and I even though it's great to live stream because of whatever, like, what do you call it, like gains or whatever there are. There are some, and those are definitely appreciated. But I just do this for fun. Is the only reason I do it. This is the most play thing I do of all, is live streaming. I feel like I'm just playing. I finished a bunch of hard work in the kitchen with this fucking flooring. And at the end of it, I was getting frustrated and and the last piece of flooring that I couldn't get to quite fit, and I kept trying to shave it down to the right size, and then it'd be too small, and then it would be like shaved too much. At the end, the last fucking thing, I just threw it. I was just, so I was like, okay, well, you got almost the whole floor down, except for this one piece that you got to do tomorrow. So no, this floor shit fits together, or if it doesn't, then it's like, of course, our floor is not exactly the right size. So we got this one strip that's a little narrower than the other strips has to be. So I got to shave off the fucking sides of it. It's very laborious. It's not hard, but it's actually again, I had to go through the whole TE thing of right tool for the right job. I eventually realized the best way to do it is to score it, put it on the piano bench, and fold it and it'll snap, rather than trying to cut it with my knife or whatever. Becky, don't make more work for me. Do not make more work for me. I'm not pulling off those fucking baseboards. I'm not doing anything I don't got to do, because I have worked on that kitchen so many times, and Kimberly just always wants to change it again. You oscillate the edge of your floor. Oscillate the edge of the floor. Take your demonstrative tea and shove it up your ass, Becky. Nothing ever works right easily. Boy, ain't that the truth, Sheila. Ain't that the fucking truth? It's like there's always some fucking problem. That's the problem with TE, with particular systems, is that it's supposed to fit there, but my floor is a little different than the standard floor or something. So it's the logic of my floor. Yeah, they give good financial advice, but I look for, and I get unsolicited advice from them. When they give unsolicited advice, they're very attentive to, like, they NI bomb. They want to NI bomb. They tool function NI better than ENFJs in that regard. ENFJs want to schmooze you, and it's kind of like, okay, enough. Your FE is too sickly sweet. You need to tone it down a bit. Do I think TI is scientific? I mean, it's proto-scientific. It's like, it's reasoning upon which all the other things are born. The ability to parse out things into binary definitional things is almost a prerequisite to. Well, there's two kinds of science going on concurrently, really. So if you consider, like, the caveman who figured out how to rub sticks together to make fire a scientist, then that's TE science. That sounds hard. Okay, yeah, sure. Og figured out fire. But I've talked a lot about morals, ethics, and, caveman duties and obligations, and none of you guys really listen, but believe me, it's important work. No, it can't cook any of your food. That's true. We can't cook your food on my ideas, but I'm telling you, it's just as scientific as making fire. What do you mean you don't care how scientific it is? You just want to eat cooked food. Okay, well, fine, be that way. If it's like all life matters to you is eating cooked food, fine. Seven slot FE will never do or fake emphatic. You mean empathic? Emphatic. Or maybe you mean emphatic. Do you mean emphatic? It could be both, right? Like, empathic displays. Like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. Or you mean like, I'm so sorry that happened. Milan, okay, I'll read all your goddamn messages. Let me see. I got to go up and read them. And I must say, I appreciate being referred to as this man. I've read the You're Amusing one. I did read that. What else am I looking at here? INXJ isn't aware of other people's feelings while ENXJ is, but just doesn't care. You mean TJ, right? You wouldn't mean INFJ isn't aware of other people's feelings. TE seems more mathematical. Well, yeah, it depends on the branch of math is right. TE wants to apply theories. Well, TE wants to get things accomplished one way or the other. Wants to solve problems or attain goals, and figures out the mechanics of the system that have to be applied to do that. So, have you seen what water made of? Ramen. Oh, ramen's made out of cockroaches? Shocking. This man never reads my messages. I totally read all your messages, Milan. Lymphatic as well. This bro. You were like Q from Star Trek. Just kidding. Of course he does. You are important. Believe that. You're right, Amber. Milan is important. Believe it. INXJ isn't aware of other people's feelings. That's incorrect. And TJ is aware of their feelings. They don't care about perceptions. They're not managing the other person's internal metaphysical field. I haven't seen what they are made of. Apparently it's cockroaches, Andy. I was surprised to learn that as well. But Hambone is an expert on ramen making, so I think we can trust him. FI users are good at understanding feelings, correct, but they're not good at managing perceptions. Wheat. That's not wheat. Those are cockroach stalks. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but wheat is just a disinformation campaign by the CIA. There really is no such thing. It's nothing but alfalfa. They're lying to us. The Great Wheat Conspiracy, they call it. Amber waves of grain, my ass. There hasn't been an amber grain in North America since 1847. Yes. Well, it's well known that if you want to really delicately flavor something like a block of ramen, then you need to have the cockroaches run through the flavoring seasoning stuffs, right? And then just run across the ramen with just a little feet, just tapping seasoning all around the place. Wheat is whack, rye's alive, barley's baloney. Hambone, you speak the truth. The only grain that is eaten in America, and any loaf of bread, no matter what the ingredients say, no matter what lies the dominant elite is trying to spill down your throat this time, is alfalfa. Time we rip the cover off of this secret conspiracy. Ham is bony, that's true. If your ham's not bony, then your bone's not hammed, and you're boning the ham. Cockroaches cause that wave in the noodles with their little paws. That's true. When they put them on there, they're straight wet noodles. But by the time the cockroaches all scurry across it with their seasoned paws, then it makes little wavy lines. Yeah. Yeah, I finally got some fresh green. Word. Righteous. You gonna smoke, bruh? You gonna burn? You gonna burn some dank stash, bruh? Bruh. Brother. No, I haven't tried frying and eating ants. I've not been that hard up for food. Even if, I have to really be broke and out of food to think, wow, I can eat those ants. Cockroaches are not cute at all. Cockroaches are disgusting. You know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if maybe I could put those ants in the backyard to better use. What do you mean? Well, there's only one way I can think to use them effectively, and that's eating them. We have regular food, though. Yeah, I'd rather throw that away and make sure the ants don't go to waste. They're not going to waste. What do you mean? They're scurrying around the backyard having fun. That's what I mean, going to waste and not being useful to me. I approach insects with a TE friend. They have to bring utility to the equation, or else I have to eat them. You don't eat any other insects? Well, I'm starting to right now. Now I'm starting. I'm starting with ants. I'm going to work my way up to tarantulas. Most delicious of the spiders, they say. The most hairy. The only problem is apparently you spend days picking tarantula hair from your teeth after you eat them. But crunchy, yeah. Scrumptious, yeah. Arachnolicious, yeah. Why didn't Oppenheimer invent the roach bomb? Well, because they tried that. They tried very small nuclear bombs to get rid of roaches at your house. The problem was all the radioactivity afterwards and all the blown up kitchens and stuff. It turned out not to be the most effective way to get the roaches without doing damage, because even if they were like the size of your thumb, it would still would like blow the shit out of your cabinet, and leave it you make it unable for anybody to go there for 1,000 years. So they nicked that plan. First couple of people returned it and said it didn't work as they'd hoped. The June bugs. Yeah, we got June bugs like crazy around here. Not right now, not yet, but they'll be out shortly. And then they're all over the place. The roaches got bigger so you could find them easier. Well, that's good. Crickets taste like popcorn. Well, maybe they do. But you know what else tastes like popcorn that's not made out of bugs, Hambone? Popcorn. So, I just go for the popcorn if I want the flavor of popcorn. It hopefully will have fewer crickets in it than the crickets. The toads that have the DMT in it that kills you and brings you back to life. Here you go, Amber. This one's for you. This one is for you. It's a very deeply, deeply, deeply sensual bong rip. I transubstantiate for me. Your little lungs is too small to hotbox with God. Who was the rapper who said that? Was it Nate Dogg? With 2 G's, I believe. Nate Dogg. Or was it somebody else? Who are you? I don't know, but I think you're an owl. I'm Eric Strauss Goss. You know, I have a girl in one of my songs, a character in one of my songs in the lyrics. Her last name is Goss. I'm not Alice in Wonderland. I'm neither Alice nor am I in Wonderland. I'm in regular land. A Bug's Life is an incredibly awesome flick. I like A Bug's Life. I enjoyed that one. I've seen most of those Disney movies. I'm a gonna hurl, I'm a gonna hurl, I'm a gonna hurl. I'm a gonna hurl, I'm a gonna hurl, I'm a gonna hurl. We Want to Live by a Jonas Vonderplanets. That's an interesting name. A Jonas Vonderplanets? Well, it's time to make some cockroach bread. Look, the thing about the cockroaches, remember guys, they are trained baking professionals. The reason they're utilized is for their very small and dexterous paws. Not because you're going to squish them and cook them into the bread. Any thoughts on automatic writing? What is automatic writing? Is that like some sort of thing where you go just... Is it like a spiritual medium kind of thing where you write something down and you're writing down the words of a dead person or something? Is that what it is? The automatic writers? Who's more clumsy, INTPs or INTJs? I mean, INTPs. But I would say that INTJs might be considered more clumsy because they're less socially graceful. And so people might perceive them as less clumsy than they actually are. More clumsy than they actually are. I've never tried it. But Hambo made me laugh with his joke there. Geo Niggy Yugi, cockroaches are there to be immediately killed. Yeah. The lung is a mighty organ. It ingests lots of drugs. I wonder what happened if I just sat here and was like, okay, hand right away. Go ahead and write. What would it do? It wouldn't do anything. I'd have to think something to write, wouldn't I? Like, how come? Like, I don't get it. What do they do though, other than run along, make bread and ramen and be cute? Oh, they go home to their wives and families afterwards, and take off the hard hat, fall into the chair. What a day, they say, and then watch something on television and drink cockroach beer. Oh, they're tough, Bruce. They're tough. You gotta kill the shit out of them, that's for sure. Okay, I will. I will look into it. It sounds interesting. I fail to see how I'm clumsy. I'm super good at sports. SE 7th just makes me lose chunks of time and not care for the physical world. Well, clumsy means whatever people think it means, but any kind of functional definition of clumsiness should basically say attending on an internal metaphysical field while operating in an external physical world in such a way that you're not paying attention and trip over shit and whatever. That's just part and parcel of being an ETI. Now, it doesn't mean that when you are tasked with playing soccer that you are unable to kick balls and unable, it depends on your personal experience. You're an SI user, third slot. You learn sports. There's also inherent natural physical advantages that people have sometimes, like being bigger or smaller in some sports, or more compact, or more wiry, or whatever. So there's that. Because I can produce a few notes that they are very flat and it is never are put with the wrong end in front. She's Stark Raven mad. Is in slower learners? What? Is I in slower learners? Nice try with the hammer versus the cockroach. I love that movie. What movie? Put your poop in a jar and hand it to me? That was one of the stranger titled movies I think I've ever seen. It wasn't really about that very much. It was just a kind of a small part of the movie. It's kind of like the beginning, the middle, and the end of it, but the movie started with one of the characters dramatically saying, "Put your poop in a jar. Give it to me." And the other one looked like this, and then there were the credits. And then that was the opening credits, and then it came back to that storyline again and again throughout. It's a pretty good film. Never did learn why they wanted the poop in the jar, but they did for some reason. Okay, well, I think it's about bedtime for me. It's longer than the half hour I said. I feel myself fading. And, oh yeah, what is it about again? Polar poop in the jar? Let's see. If your blind spot is poop in a jar, and that means whenever you see a jar, you're not going to poop in it. Whenever you poop, it's not going to be in a jar. That's pretty much it. Okay, well, I mean, it depends what you mean by... Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, too. And then the billing guy goes, "Oh, shit," afterwards. It's a big laugh line. And I think their real line is, "Shit, this isn't human shit. This is bullshit." Oh, shit. Like that. And everyone's like, ah. It's hilarious. No. Poop in a jar is called Pookie. Okay. Different than Dookie. Because it's in a jar. I mean, Juki. It's called Juki. Jankum is the Asian word for it. Jukankum is a bastardized, Roman term that they used for a while. It's complicated. The etymology of poop in a jar is very complicated. People have written dissertations on it and whole books, One person made it his entire life's work. And of course, as part and parcel of that, every time he poops in a jar, and he kept some. It's all lined up on his wall. Ah, yes. March 27th. I remember that one. I mean, it was a bigger jar than it needed to be. Okay. He didn't want to cram his poops, obviously. They had lids, so it didn't stink or anything. So anyway, don't forget to poop in a jar and keep it on your shelf. Look, I'm going to sleep. Yes, Gaelic pig. Okay. Yeah, I am punch drunk at this point for a long, hard day. I just want to remind everybody that, like Jordan Peterson, I have advice too. And it also has to do with your room. Instead of advising you to clean your room, I'm going to advise you to put up some shelves in your room, poop in jars, and line up your poops in jars on the shelves, okay? So that's my one rule for life. Do that and you'll be enlightened. Good night, sleep sweet dreams, and don't let the bed bugs bite.